Okay guys, so in this video we're going to talk about the male journey and how beautiful that male journey really is. There's so many guys that get discouraged in life, especially when they're young at the early stages when things aren't going right. They can't attract the women they want, they don't have the success they want. They see older guys driving nice cars, or maybe guys that are in the musical sports industry, which is kind of a trump card, who might be like 21 with a Maserati, a massive house and £1 million contract from a label, getting all the women in the world too. That doesn't happen for everyone else. The normal male journey is a lot different, and I'm absolutely in love with the male journey. I'm so glad. Let me get a bit closer. I'm so glad that we are men. The reason being the women's journey, and I don't want to knock women. That's not what I'm making this video for. But the female journey is kind of, you get hot real quick early on in life, and you get 100% ultimate power, and you peak really early, and then life is just never as good. Well, I mean, but you know, you go into motherhood, which is obviously for a lot of people better than being the most attractive woman in the room. But I think for women, life does peak a bit early. Now, but it's not for me to say. But in terms of male life is so beautiful. But the life of a man is unbelievable, because you start off as a testosterone-fueled idiot, an awkward idiot, who doesn't really understand life but thinks he has all the answers, doesn't really understand women but again thinks he has all the answers. And you just have this common repeating trend of guys who think that they have everything figured out, everything sorted. You know, I just got to be a big, strong quarterback and, you know, life will take care of itself. Then we get into our kind of 20s, when we start figuring out who we really are and who we really want to be. And we start figuring out how different things in life actually matter and how difficult life really is. And I think your 20s for most men are pretty shit in terms of most areas, to be honest. In terms of physicality, it's pretty good. But if bone mass and muscle mass peak at 30, then you'd say that even your 30s are probably going to be better. But in terms of like speed, sporting performance, yeah, that's probably where the 20s are best. But other than that, you're kind of broke, you're stupid, you're making dumb decisions. You know, you've got the testosterone making decisions for you. There's not a lot that you can really do. You know, the whole low wealth aspect, going for low quality women, any hole's a goal, like all these approaches of young men. And we grow through life, and we go through life and we get to around about our 30s and we start growing. And this is when I think the male journey becomes absolutely beautiful. And we need to be proud of being men, and I think more men need to realize that it is a journey. You know, you see other people around you that might be peaking early on, peaking too soon. But what you really want in life is you want the struggle, and I'll get to that in a minute. So that's why the male journey is beautiful. So men get to 30 and they start to peak. They start to take over. They start to become managers in their company. They start to earn more money than ever. They start to become attractive to the women that previously didn't want them, and new women that are maybe younger than them. They start to earn more money, get more assets, things start to click, they start to become more intelligent, staying up till 3 in the morning gaming and masturbating. That now becomes a 7 a.m. Saturday morning wake up time, in the gym, getting shit sorted, you know, dressing well. All these components come together and life starts to become easier. And we start to figure out, oh, okay, like now I'm rising to the top. Here comes my time. And this goes on till like 50 years old, when, you know, you see any like top CEOs of a company, they're all mid 40s to 50. They're all within that age range, maybe 40 to like 55, 60 before they retire. And they're kind of like the real dons, the real bosses. They're on top of the world. They're actually controlling society, but we don't realize. We kind of look and think that it's that young footballer, or it's that great looking guy with the fantastic floppy hair, stood at the bar with 3 women talking to him. It's not, because he might be good in that one area, but all the other areas are a flop, and he's still a bit of a dick at that age. But what's beautiful about the male journey is that, like I said, women kind of get it handed to them on a plate at like 16. I heard a female comedian on Joe Rogan talk about how the female journey is very much like, I don't know if she was a comedian, but she was on the show anyway. You can probably find it. And she was talking about how women are like, it's like somebody gives you the keys to a sports car at the age, or like a Ferrari at the age of 16. And she said, you start going, I wonder what happens if I do this and I rev a little bit harder. Oh, look how men responded to that. I wonder what happens if I turn the wheel and flick it back the other way. And she was kind of referring to women saying, oh, what happens if I wear a shorter skirt? What happens if I push my boobs up? What happens if I, do this or say this to this man? And you're testing out this high performance car. But you haven't gone through the period of getting the shitty cars. It's not like you didn't even have to take your driver's license. You didn't even have to fail 3 times. You didn't have to go and buy your first ever shitty car. It didn't have to break down. You had to pay for repairs and then sell it and then get another one. Women just go bang Ferrari, day 1, day 2. But for men, our journey is just a struggle. From start to finish, it's just a massive struggle. Like I said, we're awkward. We get rejected massively in all areas of life when we're young. Young men aren't taken seriously. We're considered immature. We're considered stupid, naive, inexperienced. It's hard to get jobs. Like I said, it's hard to get women. It's hard to build wealth when you're young. You think you're the best in the world, but everything keeps going wrong. And every year that passes up to about the age of 30, you just keep realizing, God, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. Nobody's taking me seriously. There's a reason when, like my mum, for example, used to insure me on her car. And once you turn 25, the insurance just plummets, becomes really cheap. And for a man on his own car insurance, when he turns 30, his car insurance just drops. Because that's the way that society goes. Society looks at a man who's 29 and under and kind of thinks, okay, some immature traits, some immature qualities. He's probably going to be racing around with his friends in the back drinking beer, right? But once you hit 30 and above, people start seeing you as like a pillar of society, like a professional individual, somebody that can be taken seriously. Maybe you've got a beard. Maybe you start losing a little bit of your hair. You have that peak that goes on here. You get a few grey hairs, and people are scared of that happening. But as a man, these sort of traits get celebrated, like a silverback gorilla. As soon as they got that silverback, they become like top ape in the troop, and I think that's the right term. And this is what people don't realize about the male journey, is that it takes a long time and it's a struggle. And the beauty of that is that when it all unfolds at the other end and you look back and you can connect the dots like Steve Jobs said, you realize how much you've been through. You've realized how much you've evolved, how much of a better person you've become, how many skills and assets you've had to acquire to get where you are today. And I think that men grow throughout life and become better people as that happens. So the shit that we have to face for like the first 25, 30 years of our life, probably 25 and then it eases off, that makes us into who we are. That makes a boy into a man. Whereas for women, I think their kind of growth period happens a lot later. I think when their looks start to deteriorate, when they start to have children, I think women that are like 40 plus, 50 plus, I can have unbelievable conversations with these women. They're really nice people. And they understand life a little bit better. They kind of say, look, my time's gone now. I focus on this, that, this. And they're more interested in nice conversations and supporting other people and talking less about themselves, and they'll just throw on any old clothes, and they kind of become more like men. And that's why men are so lucky, because we don't have that. Any guy who is 18 years old, stupidly handsome, good body genetically, probably will go on to have a worse life than a guy who has to struggle for the first 25 years of his life. And that's just because of the lessons that you learn along the way. And I think anything that involves rejection or struggle or toughness or anything that you have to build character for, gain new skills to rise up the ladder for, it's going to make you into a better man. And that is why the male journey is beautiful, and more of us should enjoy that journey and respect the journey with the knowledge that the male advantage is coming, the male peak is coming, and we're working our way towards it. And what's going on right now is temporary. It's a test. It's a building process. It's building character. And we should enjoy that more. And we should thrive in that. We should flourish in that environment. We should, grit our teeth, grit our fist, bunker down, and just put all our effort in during the times that is shit. Say, okay, this is my building process. This is when I come out the other end and I become that super successful man that I'm going to show everybody who I truly was all that time. You're that caterpillar coming out of the cocoon, to turn into that butterfly. And more of us need to love that journey. More of us need to enjoy that journey. And while we're in it, we need to thrive, acquire these skills, and make the most of it so that when we do come out the other side, we have the best life possible. And we're the best version of ourselves that we can be. And that's why we need to love the male journey. Thank you, guys.